Hey there! Did you know Kroger always gives you savings and rewards on top of our lower-than-low prices? And when you download the Kroger app, you'll enjoy over $500 in savings every week with digital coupons. And don't forget fuel points to help you save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. Want to save even more? With a Boost membership, you'll get double fuel points and free delivery. So shop and save big at Kroger today. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, and thank you for tuning into KNOW Waco. I am your host, Debbie, here to help you get in the know about Waco. This week, I'm going to be talking about some exciting events happening with downtown Waco, and today I have a very special guest in the studio. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Wendy Gragg. I'm the Director of Communications for City Center Waco and do the communications for downtown Waco.
Yeah, and what brought you to Waco, or are you a Waco native?
I came to Waco in 2006
Wow.
for a reporting job at the Waco Tribune Herald, and I was there for 6 years, and then I transitioned into doing the communications for downtown Waco, which I've been doing for 9 years now.
That's crazy, and you love it, right?
I do. My vocation is my avocation. I have lived downtown for a number of years, and a lot of my friends have businesses downtown, and so it's just kind of my life. Yeah,
and I'm so glad I could finally get you in the studio. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I haven't already had you on. You are downtown Waco.
I linger in the background. I exist like part of what's woven together.
Yeah, I love that. And, I always say people hear my voice, but they never see my face. So I'm very much behind the scenes as well. And I like to Waco to speak for me and talk about all the exciting things happening here. So you guys have a lot of events coming up. Do you want to tell me about specifically the Cocoa Crawl and some of the other events you have?
Sure. So we have some stuff going on 7th Street, so we have the Civic Theater doing some holiday pieces this Thursday, the 9th. And then we have our Downtown Cares, a dinner for a number of our homeless or people experiencing homelessness downtown on the 15th. And we're working with the MMHMR to have a lovely evening for them, live music and a dinner. And then Cocoa Crawl is the 17th. And so in fact, I just came straight from, we got the mugs yesterday.
I know, I just pestered you. I was like, just come on the show, come talk.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. But I've been packing them up and getting orders together and stuff so that I can announce that we have them and people can pick them up early if they want to. But I ordered extra mugs this year, so there's still plenty for people to get a hold of. But they pre-order a mug and they're just $10, and then you pick up your mug the night of or early, and then you go around to the different 15 businesses that are participating and taste cocoa.
Yeah, and there's always cocoa of different flavors, different kinds.
Yeah,
Mexican hot chocolate, peppermint hot chocolate, white hot chocolate, all of the above.
Yeah, and I that's what I hear.
You've never done it?
I've never done it because I'm always working it.
Oh,
so.
that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm always working during Wonderland, and I'm always working the Cocoa Crawl, and so yeah.
Yeah, and Wonderland was fabulous. How did that go?
I thought it went really well. I have to be completely honest. My office's involvement in Wonderland consists of putting money toward it.
Great.
And doing communications for it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, that is all Parks and Recs babies, and they do an amazing job at it.
Yeah,
so.
They ghosted me. They were supposed to come on the podcast last week. Megan, I'm calling you out here, so if you're listening. No, it's fine. But yeah, and so you guys have all these events, and you guys are really trying to enrich the downtown culture.
Yeah, we've done a lot of stuff on 7th Street since we opened it, and the 7th Street Plaza since
I'm so glad
June.
we got to keep it, and it wasn't just a summer thing.
And I think that, fingers crossed, I don't want to misspeak, but I have given the city a proposal for keeping it, into the spring or whatever.
Yay.
And there's some reasons to believe that will be, that could happen. So we hope so. But the idea is to create a space that's inclusive and accessible to everyone and enriches. That's just a great word to use. And offer a lot of different experiences. And, we have a budget for programming. So we've done, if we can make it be free, we want it to be free, because that means more people can enjoy it.
Yeah.
And yay.
Yeah. And what's something you would like to see more of here in Waco?
I am a fringe person, and that's probably what makes me a friend of rogue media.
Yes.
But when I was a kid, I was a little skate punk, and so just anything that's on the fridge that's for others, that's that's why it was important to me to have Mind, Body, Soul night with tarot readings and Reiki and stuff on 7th Street. So
love Cassie, shout out, she's amazing.
Yeah.
Shout out Julie, shout out.
Absolutely. And Kylie pulled it together.
Kylie's amazing,
so that was wonderful. But just really a lot of different things. I'm an absurdist, so anything that is absurd, that's how I enjoy life.
Great. So the more obscure, the better.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Okay, so
tentacles,
more silent. Oh, yeah.
Clowns in forests.
Ooh. So we're gonna have an interactive art installation, right?
I don't want to say too much, but that's my dream.
In the proposal.
That's my dream. Yeah, anything the strange is that's my area.
That's so cool. Yeah, and how have you seen this downtown landscape change, especially since you've been a key figure in it?
So what's been really exciting about downtown is there's this pioneer spirit. So it's where people, this is what I always say, but it's where people with passion and grit work their butts off and pour their entire lives into creating something, and whether that is art or a business or anything. And it's been happening since even before Magnolia was downtown. I remember when Dichotomy started at the farmers market, and then they had a little thing at Croft Art Gallery when it was Croft Art Gallery, you know, and then moved to 508. And it's just people working together and working their butts off, and it's cool.
Yeah, and I usually do a shout out section at the end, but is there anybody you want to highlight?
Oh my God, I wish I had known that ahead of time.
I always give it on the fly because some people will be too prepared. You can shout out your mom too at the end. It's fine.
I think I would. This is self-serving, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I might shout out the farmers market because we just celebrated
Bethel.
our
Love you guys.
So I started volunteering there right after it opened, and then after a while got on the board, and I've been on the board for 7 years now, and it's just awesome.
Yeah, and you guys are hiring. You guys have a position open. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we're hiring an assistant market manager, and I think it's a great position for the right person. It's a part-time position, but you can have your hand on a lot of different things, but definitely like social media for the market. And you would work the market on Saturdays. Literally, I have worked the market on Saturdays for 10 years now.
See me there. So,
but it's a lot of fun. It's like going and hanging out with your friends for 5 hours.
Yeah,
whatever.
which is great.
So it's great.
Yeah. And again, with the farmers market, you guys have developed so much from being all the way back over off of the street. And now you guys are right downtown.
Yeah. And everybody, one of my least favorite questions is, when are you going back to the Riverside?
Sorry. It's under construction.
Yeah, completely. and they're supposed to be creating a beautiful space. The only thing that as a board member, is something I keep in the forefront of my mind is we have grown so much. We are so large now. Will we even fit what they've created?
That's very true.
And while we don't necessarily need to grow in size more, I also don't think we really need to shrink.
It's true.
We are, if anything, we're doubling down on quality, and that's awesome. But we're a pretty great size, and we offer a lot of really quality things. So I'm really proud of our integrity at the farmers market. And we work really, really hard on it. So.
And I love the handmade market that you guys do just for local crafters. And I just love the amazing like variety and, diversity you guys have created with the market.
Yeah. Oh, and all of that is so important to us. That's what's so cool, I think, in anything that you work in is when you work with people who the same things matter to them, which is, things like equity and accessibility and, inclusivity and diversity, all of that.
All of those itties.
all of the itties, yes.
Yeah, and I know about all of the development happening over in East Waco. I know there's going to be a holiday party. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the Bridge Street Plaza, which has been, it's been going like for it's been being built for like
forever.
Forever now. Whereas like 7th Street, boom, we did that in like a couple months, and then it was.
I thought it was like overnight. I was like, oh,
we did that super fast, and also like because and it was kind of like. In my heart, it was my baby. So like I have just blasted that. And we've done a ton of programming there. And it was all part of a project. You guys have
everything from two-stepping to DJ nights to yoga to literally everything you could think of.
Bridge Street is amazing. And unlike 7th Street, it absolutely is permanent. And a ton of money was put into it. And it is beautiful. And I think as it finds its place in the city and as people find it, I think it's going to be really, really important. And to East Waco, sure, but really just to Waco in general. I cannot, I wrote about recently in Lost in Waco about the importance of public spaces. And yes, commerce is important, businesses are important, but equally as important are those spaces that are not ruled by capitalism, those spaces where we all can come together on an equal playing ground and meet and be human, inspire each other, have difficult conversations, celebrate more, and do all of those things. And that's what public spaces are for. And downtowns are typically home to those, and downtown Waco does not have a lot of those. So Bridge Street is, I think, going to play a really important role in that.
Yeah, and I'm so excited to see more of the programming that's going on, especially as we do continue to grow and have all these amazing events, and bring that inclusion to downtown Waco and the surrounding areas. But how would you like to help develop that? Other than everything you've already been doing.
I would actually, like 7th Street, Bridge Street as well, but Bridge Street was very specifically, it was very expensive. but I mean, 7th Street, that's placemaking and tactical urbanism at its best.
Very much so.
And I have a 4 other ideas for downtown things, and I would really like to do more of that. And not everything wouldn't have the same feel to it, but I'm really, really interested in activating underused spaces in downtown and creating something special in them, and then they're like little gifts to Waco, and then to see people use them, and create art from them, like Lamech. Some of the art he's created is
so
just
amazing.
Yeah, it's just so good. Urban place management is my field, and that does not sound terribly exciting, but when it means doing things like that people then want to create art from, so good. Yeah. Such a great place to be.
I had Bobby on the show, Bobby Horner, and he was just talking about all the development and everything. And he was talking about, urban planning and landscaping and all this other stuff. And I was like, I don't know a lot about that, but sounds cool.
Yeah. Well, and for me, the downtown stuff it's a perfect little niche because while absolutely, if your downtown is doing well and your businesses are doing well, and so much of that is driven by capitalism, but then, take my business hat off and have put my personal hat on, and I'm I'm all about like, okay, but where can our lives be enriched and it not have to do with capitalism? You know? And I think that those two things can meet. And when they do, it's really beautiful.
Yeah. And it's so cool to see people like you and other people in our community helping make these spaces and actually, again, give that human element back to a city, which when you think of on a literal sense is just buildings, but there are people in those buildings. So you have to bring those people together one way or another.
Yeah. There's community. Yeah, it's all. And when I get to talking about it, I feel like I sound very trite, but I really do believe it.
There's only so much you can say. Development, good. People, good. Community, good. But yeah, and now, like I said, I do have a shout out section. So is there anybody in particular you would like to shout out that has helped on this journey or anything like that?
Okay, this is one. Susan Callie, who's the ED at Talitha Coombe. She's the one who hired me away from the Trib to start promoting downtown Waco. And if she hadn't done that, I don't know, newspapers are having a tough time. And and I have, also when you work for a newspaper, you can't be involved in a lot of other things. And so then once I left newspaper, I asked Susan if I could be on some boards and stuff. And she said, set your hair on fire. And so, so I have gotten involved deeply in the city and now have been here 15 years and it's been a good ride. So yeah, so I would thank her for setting me on a different course.
Oh, that's amazing. And how did you get started? Were you writing and you just wanted to be more involved or?
What do you get started specifically?
Well, with, you said you worked at the Waco Trib, so like were you just a writer and then you were getting
I was an education reporter.
Oh, okay.
And I had already, by the time I came to Waco, I had been an education reporter for 7 years in South Carolina and then in Killeen. And then Waco Trib for 6 years. And I was just, I don't know, I guess I was just ready for something else. I was honestly at a place where I was just really tired of writing about people doing things and not being able to do them myself.
Do the things? Got you.
And I thought I was a very arrogant reporter because I thought that as a reporter that you got to find things out first. And then when I left journalism, I realized, no, you know who the people are who find things out first? The ones sitting at the table and creating it. Yeah. And now I get to sit at the table and I get to create it.
Wow.
And so that's really exciting.
I love that. And it's crazy to see how there's many different facets of things and how it's like those transferable skills. And then you're like, oh, well, I'm doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, paper set me up well because I am an extrovert and I will talk to anyone and I'm not intimidated by things. And just so it's like, oh, okay, those are good life skills to have for everything you do there on. So.
Yeah. And you guys got shirts. A beautiful shirt you're wearing right now.
Yeah.
Talk about the shirts. Talk about merch.
And I hope people buy these. We only had 50 printed, so it's a very small run.
Limited edition.
Right. They say light up downtown because that's our campaign for the season. And we did extra lights downtown this year. And it was really important to the mayor, Dylan Meek, for us to have lots of lights downtown. So we did extra. And I really, I started playing with that phrase last year because it was just lights, they feel so warm and hopeful. And it's just been a really tough couple of years.
Yeah, you're telling me.
So it's like just whatever bit of whimsy or hope or beauty we can offer, let us do that. So, so we had some t-shirts printed. They're forest green with ice blue writing. Maybe I chose the colors because that looks good on me. But it is part of the branding for the campaign. So
yeah, it's so good. And where can people find out more information about all the stuff you guys are doing and all these events?
So on downtownwacotx.com, that's our website's Downtown Waco website. And on Instagram, we're Waco Downtown. And on Facebook, we're Downtown Waco.
Yeah, and how can people get involved?
That is a really great question. We actually need to get to a point where we have like downtownies, like volunteers.
Downtownies? Oh, can you trademark that?
Yeah.
I love that. Don't take it.
Don't take, like, I will come after you. Don't do that.
Beat you.
Don't do that.
TM, trademark.
I shouldn't have said that. But it would, yeah. So there's not like, but if you have something going on downtown, yeah, just, you know what? Shoot me a message on our social media and if
that's
you
what
have
I did.
something
Just
going
DM
on.
her 8 times.
Yeah, like exactly. And especially because it's just really hectic this time of year and I don't, you know, I'm not going to get bothered by it. So just like if you're like, hey, would you make sure and say something about my event that's going to be on Washington Avenue or whatever, let me know. And, you know, we'll do that. So,
yeah. And what are you looking forward to most about 2022?
Oh, God.
Another year.
I don't know. I'm very, I'm not someone who sees into the future. I will say this. I am
living in the present.
People keep asking me what I'm doing for Christmas or what I want for Christmas. And I keep jumping down their throats because I'm like, that is literally weeks away.
You had like 2 weeks.
That's more than 1 week, which means
that's 10 weeks. Business days. I do in business minutes.
Yeah. I'm not good at the future. I guess in 2022, I would like to do some more placemaking. I would like to create some more spaces that Waco can get excited about, because this is what 21st century downtowns look like, is creating these things. I mean,
we're just only like 5 years behind. It's fine.
One day, if I die and
we're getting
well, yeah, no. But I mean, if I die and someone says, you know what, she did some cool shit.
I'm already saying that. Don't worry. Okay. I'm already like, wow, she's so cool.
But I mean, if anything I did made someone smile at some point, like, then that's all I need. Like I said, I'm an absurdist. So if I can create a little pop of whimsy, or if someone like visits, like goes to a program on 7th Street and then goes home and that night says, I saw something cool today, my job is done.
Wow.
Like, that's great. Now, technically my job is when you come downtown and do that, but then also go get dinner or go shopping.
And pay some money.
Yeah, spend some money so that I'm really doing my job that pays my rent.
Yes.
But my job as a human is just to, you know, we're all like Sisyphus, just rolling our boulders up the hill every day. But what if on the way I could seed some flowers that makes it just a little less mundane for someone else, and amuses me at the same time?
Yeah. I love your viewpoint on that. That's absolutely amazing. And, you know, that's an amazing allegory and just something to really think about, like, as we continue to trudge on in downtown Waco and trudge through all the development and get through everything that's happening. I really love that output on it.
Yeah, just those little pops of whimsy and the unexpected and a little bit of surprise. That's the stuff that I live for. So
yeah. And is there anything else you would like to share with our listeners today?
I think I've just laid it literally all on the table. So no, that's about it.
Physically, no. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate hearing all your insight and just knowing a little bit more about some amazing events that are happening right downtown that people can get involved with.
Great.
Thank you for tuning into this week's podcast. This is your host, Debbie, signing off. Now that you know, go. Just go, Waco.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.